All right, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you, right there, and yours truly, me, right here. Remember when Lindsey Buckingham said that Fleetwood Mac had lost perspective? They'd lost their perspective. I think what he was referring to is the fact that number one, the band is in its twilight. Okay, very late twilight. Like the sun is kind of, it's already set, and there's a little bit of light still up in the sky, but not a whole lot. And I think he's probably referring to the fact that hey, we should all go out together. In other words, let's end this together. Like the Three Musketeers, the Five Musketeers, or if you include all the additional musicians right now, it'd be the 20 Musketeers without Lindsay. But it's a weird place for Fleetwood Mac to be right now. And I think what has given Fleetwood Mac aid and comfort, though, is the fact that the rock reporting media, and I hate to even call them media because I don't consider, say, I know this is going to sound weird. I just don't consider a guy who writes for Rolling Stone the media. I mean, he is a reporter who works for a magazine, so you can call him a reporter. But to just throw it out there as a generic term, like it's thrown around about just hard news these days, the news media, I think this is more about the way people think in these little tight circles where they form opinions and then they're really insulated from the actual stuff that happens out, whether it be in the rock band itself currently, or they're kind of insulated from the history of the group. They have no perspective, and that's where I'm going with this. They don't really have a proper perspective about the past. If a guy writes an article and he can't tell you that Gypsy, the song Gypsy, was an actual Fleetwood Mac song rather than a Stevie solo song, which was actually put into an article recently, if you're that musically illiterate about the history of this band, then you shouldn't be out there covering them because people are going to call you out. They'll call me out all day long if I misspeak on here. I'll hear about it. People send me tweets like, oh, you're an idiot. You don't even know what you're talking about. I did a thing about how I liked John Anderson in Yes, and I think, two versions of Yes is kind of foolish and this and that. And, the band kicked Anderson to the curb, and all these people were coming back saying that Anderson he didn't want to work and this and that. And he had this illness, and I'm just like, forget about it. I didn't study it the way I should have. I think I was right, but maybe there were some details I left out. The point being is if you're reporting and people are reading your review, if you're going to add anecdotes, you're going to add little things that contribute to the article. Like one reporter actually said that she had to spend all of her babysitting money back in 1979 to purchase the album Tusk. And she still resented Lindsey Buckingham even today because of that double album and how much it cost her. No, I'm not making this up. It was in an article. So when you talk about perspective, you've got a willing accomplice in most of these folks that are doing a very pedantic, very, lethargic, lazy. I've heard people say it's just lazy reporting about what's happening with this band. It's kind of like they drew the short straw. Oh, geez, I got to go cover this Fleetwood Mac concert. I'm not going to go see Bruno Mars. I got to go see Fleetwood Mac. Dang, okay, yeah, all right. I'll go through the motions. I'll pretend to know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, there are a whole bunch of fans that are just like screaming like, hey, Lindsay's not in this group and you're making light of it. You have the wrong perspective. A couple of reporters recently have gotten this correct. The guy down in San Jose at the Mercury News, he understands that this was a major deal, losing the guy who's the catalyst, who's the genius, who's the architect, who, by the way, is the true energy. If you want to talk about fresh energy, I'd rather have the Lindsay energy than the fresh energy, which doesn't sound or duplicate or replicate or do anything that Lindsey Buckingham used to do for this group. So the perspective is being lost, and in a way, the lost perspective is being shared by a very lazy and willing sort of corporate rock media establishment that doesn't give a crap about reviews, whether they're getting paid or not. I just think it's laziness. If they should get paid for what they're doing from the people who are propping up this group and saying they're better than ever. They sound better without him. That's just bullcrap. They don't sound better without him. If they can sound like 70% of where they were with him, then that would be a huge accomplishment, and that would be a fair review. But that's not even what's being said. People are actually saying that, yeah, Neil Finn, he is just a great vocalist, and his voice is right there where Lindsey's used to be. No, actually, it isn't right there where Lindsey's used to be. Neil Finn sounds nothing like Lindsey Buckingham, and that's what I mean. You need to have some kind of perspective. And not only has Fleetwood Mac lost it, but apparently the folks covering them have also lost it as well. Okay, done with this video. Be back soon. See you then.